Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry for no video over the past couple of days. I got hit really hard with the flu and I practically lost my voice, and I still kind of have this flu and I couldn't exactly record anything, but now even with the flu I am back, and I'm back with a breakdown of an awesome new Halo Wars 2 trailer that was aired during RTX last weekend. There is a ton of juicy new information in this trailer. So before we get into it, don't forget to leave a like. I love to try and hit 300 likes on this video, so let's try and make that a reality. So let's get into the breakdown. The first thing is in this first shot of the Spirit of Fire, and it appears to have had all of the damage on its left side repaired after it collided with that Covenant carrier in Halo Wars 1. This collision, as you can see, caused very significant damage to the ship. It wasn't just a little scratch. So how it's been fully repaired is very interesting. Possibly some engineers on the ship didn't go into cryosleep and instead stayed awake to repair the ship. Maybe the ship stopped off at like a space repair station or something, and the repair station just didn't log that the Spirit of Fire is stopped there. Unlikely, yes, but right now there is literally no explanation at all as to how it's been fully repaired. So anything is pretty much possible. Let me know in the comments how you think it's been repaired. Right now we have no idea, so I'd love to hear what you guys think. Okay, now this next point is very interesting. Major props to the Reddit user The Eld for spotting FFG201, which is the Forward Unto Dawn's hull classification on the screen as it's booting up. Now, Eld, my friend, you must be a fucking hawk to notice this, because it's literally on screen for like a couple of frames and then it's gone. So what does this actually mean? Well, right before FFG201 shows up on the screen, it says incoming comm, which we can assume to mean incoming communication. So the Dawn was somehow communicating with the Spirit of Fire, but how? Well, if the Spirit of Fire drifted from the Shield world to the Ark by 2552, and was just floating above there for 7 years between 2552 and 2559, then there's a chance that the Dawn escaping the Ark and sending out an SOS signal could have reached the Spirit of Fire. However, there is one major flaw with this theory. You'd think that the UNSC fleet at the Ark would have noticed a ship that had been lost with all hands floating above the Ark during the Human Covenant War, and they didn't. There's also the possibility that the half of the Dawn with Chief on that drifted from the Ark to Requiem managed to pass the Spirit of Fire. We know Cortana was sending out a distress signal, so the Spirit of Fire could have just picked that up. On the other hand though, the Dawn could have just left a log buoy on the Ark, which is like a sort of static message, which is sending the message to the Spirit of Fire. Either way, it really depends on what year this bit of the cutscene takes place, because if it takes place in 2559, then it literally can't be Cortana's distress signal from the Dawn, for obvious reasons. If it is in 2559, this lends more evidence towards it just being a log buoy. Next up is something crazy that is going to spawn an entirely new wave of theories.
Captain, wake up. Something has happened.
The Halo Wars 1 legendary ending is still canon, and more so, seems to directly feed into Halo Wars 2, as I originally predicted. So let's get to the point. How the fuck is Sarina still alive? Well, I've already made an entire video dedicated to answering this question. There's a link on the screen right now if you want to go watch that. There's one thing though that I don't talk about in that video that was actually brought up in a conversation between me and Halo Canon the other day. And that's that Sarina may have made a dumb copy of herself that's only capable of sort of basic behaviours, one of which is providing alerts for Captain Cutter. Now, it's possible, but right now I legit have no idea how she's alive. This is a question that we're going to have to wait for an answer for, because right now I have no idea, the community has no solid idea, it's just a guessing game. Here we have a really cool hologram of the Ark. Now the Ark in Halo Wars 2 actually does look slightly different to Halo 3. The petals seem to stick up a little bit more than before, and the terrain seems far more visible and much like a Halo ring. The smaller petals have also shrunk quite significantly in width, and now look a lot thinner. Other than those things though, it looks almost identical, even down to the small intricate patterns that look literally identical, which is great. Also worthy of note is that the Foundry world is highlighted on this hologram, So I'm guessing the Spirit of Fire's crew have seen that it's building something, and that something of course we know is a Halo ring, but don't forget that the crew actually don't know what the Halo ring is. It's all new to them, they've never experienced this before. Because as we know, the first ring, Installation 04, was discovered in 2552, and the Spirit of Fire went missing in 2531. So they missed the whole discovery of the Halo ring. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they think the ring is, and what they think the Ark is, and what their function is. Now here we have Red Team's first mission on the Ark, where they investigate an abandoned UNSC base, which is of course where they first encounter the Banished. Now this begs the question, why is the base abandoned? Why is the rest of the Ark assumed to be abandoned as well, when the UNSC we know had multiple research stations on there? Right now, my bets are on the Created forcing humanity to retreat into their own corner of the galaxy, and the Banished landing on the Ark and trying to retrieve stuff from it also helped speed up humanity's retreat from the Ark, with brute force of course. So basically the reason that the UNSC are no longer on the Ark is a nice little combination of the Created and the Banished. Now in this base, we see Douglas getting severely injured by Atriox, so we can assume that the original trailer that we got last year for Halo Wars 2 was in fact not on the Spirit of Fire like we all thought. It was set in this abandoned base. There's some other stuff relating to this scene that I want to talk about, but I'll get into it in a few minutes when it's relevant. Now, this shot here is super intimidating. It really shows the tribalness of Atriox's brutes. This, in my opinion, is the perfect rendition of their species and culture, so major props to 343 and Creative Assembly for this. If the brutes do make their way back into the main games in Halo 6, I seriously hope they keep this design for them as a species and their behaviour. It's how I always expected and imagined the brutes to truly act and behave. Skipping forward a little bit, and we have another shot of the old Halo 2 Anniversary Elite design, and boy does it look good. Now I know that it is just Blur reusing Halo 2 Anniversary assets in the cinematics, but I seriously hope this is a trend that makes its way back into the main games in the future. Interestingly though, I think this is the exact same Elite model from the Another Day at the Beach cutscene that was remastered in Halo 2 Anniversary. His mannerisms, armour and everything just seem to be identical, at least in my opinion. Now what's interesting about this Elite is what he's actually doing. He's ordering a squad of ghosts to attack the UNSC, and we then get another very blurry look at the Banished ghosts. They're the old ghost design as opposed to the Halo 5 ghost design, and of course, as you'd expect, they have the Banished grey metal and red lighting on them, and holy shit do they appear to look cool. Jumping back into space, we have the Spirit of Fire's turrets preparing for action, which indicates that the Banished must have some cruisers of some sort. I mean, I always expected them to have a fleet, otherwise how do they even get to the Ark in the first place, but I guess this kinda confirms it. I can't wait to see how big their fleet actually is, and of course how the Spirit of Fire somehow manages to fuck it up. Now, this shot of Cutter issuing orders on a screen I have looked at in extremely extensive detail, and I originally thought it was going to be something super important, but now I'm just 99% sure that it's just him ordering these ODSTs or missiles or whatever they are where to land. Now here we have something that I'm sure quite a lot of people are going to be very happy about. After the Halo Wars 2 E3 trailer, I saw quite a lot of complaints that it was the Halo 2 Anniversary Marine Armour and not the original Halo Wars Marine Armour that was being used in the cinematics. Well, not anymore. Here we have that glorious Halo Wars Marine Armour back, complete with mouth bandana. So badass. Okay, so let's go back to Douglas getting injured. That scene is continued here with a very ominous shot of Atriox crushing Douglas's helmet and dropping it in front of a severely beaten Douglas. I'm really happy that Red Team, or at the very least Douglas, seem to be getting some sort of actual character development now, which is something that they got absolutely none of in Halo Wars 1. It makes me think that Douglas may actually fill the role of Forge in Halo Wars 2, as in a leader who doesn't actually fight on the battlefield much and instead consults Cutter and aids in battle planning. However, I do have one theory that relates to Douglas, and it's surrounding that mysterious Spartan wearing Mark 6 in the Halo Wars 2 beta menu. I have a feeling that this mysterious Spartan could actually be Douglas with a new set of armour that obviously replaces his damaged or destroyed Mark 4. But this begs the question, where did they get the Mark 6 from? Well, right now there are two possibilities. Either it was stored as a replacement for Red Team on the Spirit of Fire, or it was left behind at one of the abandoned UNSC bases on the Ark. Right now, either are possible. Moving on to the penultimate scene, and damn, is it a seriously daunting one. If these things dropping in are ODSTs, and I'm pretty sure they are, then they're dropping between 2 lancers of what look like banished choppers. We can only see 3 drop pods too. There may be more, but that's 3 ODSTs versus countless choppers. They're a little more than outnumbered. I can't help but think though that this is actually excellent subtle symbolism and foreshadowing for how outnumbered the Spirit of Fire and her crew truly are in Halo Wars 2. Either way, it's beautiful, frightening cinematography. And our final scene provides further confirmation that a Halo ring is indeed being constructed in the Arc Center, and it appears to be mostly finished given the detail on the ring and also how much the Foundry world has been harvested. So again, this begs the question, which ring is it? Is it a new one being built from scratch, or is it another ring being repaired? By the looks of how much the Foundry world has been harvested, it's likely going to be a new Halo ring, so that narrows it down to either Installation 04C or Installation 08. Let me know in the comments which one you think it is. And that's all for today guys, thanks a lot for watching, I really hope you enjoyed. The next video is going to be a discussion about the Didact, specifically where he is now, his influence on Halo 5, and how I think he'll come back soon. There was something teased about him in Forge in the Warzone Firefight update that heavily hints at where he currently is, so I'm going to be looking at this tease along with many other pieces of information, and I'm going to try and analyse where he is now and his influence on Halo 5 and how he's going to come back. So thanks again for watching guys, and I'll see you then.